All right. So, recently something extremely monumentous has occurred. Something that will change the way the media, the institutions of the federal government of the United States are looked at forever. And I'm referring to the release of the tapes of January 6th. An absolute bombshell was dropped yesterday, and I'm going to react to the footage. I'm going to react to um, what I perceive as the seriousness of the situation, and I'm going to explain why it's so serious and what it means. So, this was released by the House of the United States to Tucker Carlson, the leader of the House, McCarthy, released this to Tucker Carlson on Fox News, who has the biggest show in mainstream media for news. So a lot of people have seen this, and when I say a lot, I mean millions. Okay, so this is really crazy. Um, I'm just gonna type in J6 footage and see what comes up. All right, now this is a huge deal, guys. This is a huge deal. I don't know if this is going to be taken down by YouTube. I don't know. I'm surprised that it's still up because there's been such a concerted effort, and you see this on Twitter. There's been such a concerted effort to cover this up, to keep people from seeing this footage, which to me just instantly signals the mental incompetence and general corruption of the mentality of the people on the radical left who want to silence this. Because either the footage is irrelevant because the case that they put forward already of the violent protesters outnumbering cops, breaking stuff, going in, desecrating situations, swinging from the rafters, either that's the accurate story, and so additional context won't change the accurate portrayal of what already happened, or they lied, and this is going to expose their lie. Maybe it'll expose more than their lie, and it's going to demonstrate that they don't want you to know the truth. So in their opposition to this being put out there, it immediately signals to me, it instantly lets me know that they want to hide something, because they know that when you get to make up your own mind by watching this, when you get to think for yourself, you will reject the hive mind of the left. Remember, the hive mind of the left requires adherence. It requires you to think the way they think. It requires you to buy into their ideology, which rejects mechanisms that reveal objective truth, like reason, rationality, intellectual coherence, logic. These are mechanisms that are outrightly rejected by the radical left as discriminatory in their essence, because you discriminate between ideas that are better and worse. You discriminate between truth and falseness, or truth and lies. And the Marxists who control the radical left want to create the world in a way that is devoid of up from down. They want to insist that everything is a social construct, that there is no such thing as right and wrong. And so mechanisms like logic, reason, rationality pose a direct threat to the propagation of their ideology. So the fact that this is such a contentious topic, the fact that we see Nancy Pelosi, the fact that we see Chuck Schumer on Twitter, who I will show you, it's almost unbelievable. It's let me show you what I'm talking about here, okay? Twitter.com. I quote tweeted this guy because it's so unbelievable. Profile. Tweets. Look at what some of these leftists are saying. This woman tweeted Tucker Carlson is a modern-day Joseph Goebbels. Do you agree? Comparing a journalist with a Nazi propagandist for reporting the truth. Not even an opinion. He's reporting footage, unadulterated footage. This is but one example of deranged leftist woke mind virus that I saw. This is borderline scary though. Look at this. Speaker McCarthy has held the gavel for less than 3 months. But by sharing the January 6th footage with Fox News, he has already done more than any party leader in Congress to enable the spread of Donald Trump's big lie. How could presenting footage of what happened contribute to anything other than the truth? How? Unless the story that they told you was false, and we know it's false, but the thing is we were called conspiracy theories for saying that it was false. Oh no, you're just denying reality. When it turns out they hired Hollywood producers to edit together the footage that they had literally thousands of hours of footage to go through of all the different cameras in the building, and they hired a Hollywood editor to go through and make it look as bad as possible. That's the reason they're mad about this. That's the reason they're mad, and it turns out, I mean, we're going to react to this now, and we're just going to go in here. Understanding that the government, this is going to go down as one of the biggest scandals in the history of the United States in terms of the government not being on our side. The government just lying to us. The government's lied to us before, obviously. I think the government's lying to us currently about aliens, but this is they covered up the truth, and they're also imprisoning people, by the way, that shouldn't be imprisoned because, as you're about to see, they didn't break the law. Check this out.
These are the pictures you've seen of January 6th.
Right, rowdy Republican MAGA types breaking in, really, desecrating law and order. But wait a second, that's not the whole story.
They're familiar because they've been playing on a loop on every media outlet in America for the last 2 years. There's a reason for that.
Think about that. Think about the fact that the entire left-wing establishment is only playing this. Why? Because they want to demonize. Marxism only knows how to demonize others so that you don't have to contend with what they have to say. Think about it. If I don't agree with what you have to say, but I'm not allowed to engage in rationality or reason because my ideology forbids it, the only thing I can do is say, you're a bad person so that I don't have to listen to what you have to say. That's exactly what they've been doing, and that's the reason, that is the motivation behind what we're seeing here.
But it turns out there's quite a bit of video you haven't seen. And that video tells a very different story about what happened on January 6th. More than 40,000
Look at that guy picking something up.
hours of surveillance footage from in and around the Capitol have been withheld from the public.
47,000 hours of footage.
Once you see the video,
why do they not want you to make up your own mind? Why is that? What's the reason? They don't think you can think for yourself. They have to tell you what to think because Marxism requires adherence like a dog. It's more than a religion. It is a cult. It is a dogmatic adherence to a cult. You can't think for yourself. If you see the footage, you might make up your own mind. You might realize, wait a second, the police officers were escorting them in. Look at this.
You'll understand why. Taken as a whole, the video record does not support the claim that January 6th was an insurrection.
And it certainly wasn't violent.
In fact, it demolishes that claim.
Wow.
And that's exactly why the Democratic Party and its...
This is the first time I'm reacting to this video, by the way. I haven't seen it before. I've only seen small clippets on Twitter.
...allies in the media prevented you from seeing it. By controlling the images you were allowed to view from January 6th, they controlled how the public understood that day. They could lie about what happened, and you would never know the difference. Those lies had a purpose.
I can't believe...
They created a pretext for a federal crackdown.
I can't believe they think they are so much better than you, that they can lie to you and keep you from discovering the truth. They think that they're better than you. Leftists think that they're better than you. I want you to understand this. They believe that it's a belief that has led to the absolute catastrophe and disaster of just countless events in history. This is really disturbing. You should find this disturbing.
Down on opponents of the Uniparty in Washington.
Our office wanted to ensure that there was shock and awe, that we could charge as many people as possible.
The first thing you notice from viewing the full video record of January...
Wow, they wanted to charge overtly. They wanted to charge as many people as possible because they look at you as animals. They demonize you. Marxism only allows for the demonization of those that disagree with their faulty presuppositions because they can't engage in logic. They can't engage in rationality or reason. Those things would reveal the incoherence of all of their beliefs and insistences. One among them being the counterfeit virtue that is bestowed upon the people that are a part of Marxism, but in fact they're just competing for victimhood. They don't have actual virtue. They haven't done anything, that warrants actual merit. They just call themselves better than you. They just think of themselves as better than you because they are a part of the left. And I don't need to tell you this. You already understand that people on the left think they're better than you because, we're so compassionate even though we're the party of hate and exclusion.
January 6th is just how many people entered the Capitol building that day. Hundreds and hundreds of people, possibly thousands, over the course of about 2 hours. The crowd was enormous.
You can't look at people like that and think they're criminals unless you're an evil person. You can't. You cannot look at people like that and say these people are criminals unless you have the mindset of an actual Nazi SS officer that looks at Jewish people as less than. The only way you can consider those people criminals is if you think they're less than you. And I'm just going to say what no one's willing to say. I'm going to say that because it's true, and they all are thinking it, and you should be aware that they're thinking it. They think of you as less.
Enormous. A small percentage of them were hooligans. They committed vandalism. You've seen their pictures again and again. But the overwhelming majority weren't. They were peaceful. They were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists. They were sightseers. Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story you've heard about January 6th.
Oh my God.
Protesters queue up in neat little lines. They give each other tours outside the speaker's office. They take cheerful selfies and they smile. They're not destroying the Capitol.
It was created. The narrative was created and constructed, and they're literally angry on Twitter that you're seeing it. Think about that.
Obviously revere the Capitol. They're there because they believe the election was stolen from them.
Of course they revere the Capitol because conservatives love America. Dude, I'm going to tell you why this was fabricated after the video.
They believe in the system. Here's the man you've heard referred to as the QAnon shaman outside the Senate chamber. These are not rioters. These are people who wandered over from a political rally.
We will not let them silence your voices.
After the rally, they walked down Pennsylvania Avenue, where organizers had secured a federal permit to hold a legal rally on the grounds of the Capitol.
I know that everyone here will...
When have you ever heard that in mainstream media? Never. Never even said on CNN. Probably never. Literally never happened. Why? Because they only want to demonize you. They want to claim moral superiority, even though they deny morality outright.
Soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Once at the Capitol building, things began to get chaotic. Capitol police officers fired tear gas into the crowd. A few at the front of the herd broke windows. Someone opened the doors, and many hundreds of others just walked in.
We're gonna make that the story.
Of course, they did make it the story. And at the center of it, the single most famous person arrested that day was a Navy veteran from Arizona called Jacob Chansley, often referred to as the QAnon shaman.
The so-called QAnon shaman. QAnon shaman.
Someone named Q Shaman.
Jacob Chansley became the face of January 6th, a dangerous conspiracy theorist dressed in outlandish costume who led the violent insurrection to overthrow American democracy. For these crimes, Chansley was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison, far more time than many violent criminals now receive. What did Jacob Chansley...
Especially in like communist zones like Chicago or, I mean, Portland, Philadelphia. There's so many instances, Milwaukee, but in these cities where you can literally commit violent crimes and be released the same day, where police have to risk their lives repeatedly for nothing.
Due to receive this punishment. To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened once he got inside. Virtually every moment of his time inside the Capitol was caught on tape. The tapes show that Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him. They acted as his tour guides. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber.
He's being escorted through the building by police, by armed police. And what does he have? A flag? A flag. He's unarmed. He's being escorted by armed police. He's not breaking things. He's not storming the Capitol. He's walking through being escorted by armed police. This is what they don't want you to see, guys. They're lying to you. They lied to you. They want to demonize you. The only reason they did this is so that they could call people who disagree with them extremist terrorists, something they've always wanted to do, something that they dream about, because that would be the way they can ultimately have proof. They could have proof of why they're better than you. Look, you stormed the Capitol with your American flag because you love America, but look, you're anti our government. No, it turned out that's a lie. They lied, but we saw this coming. And I'm going to tell you why we saw this why I saw this coming at the end of this video, so stick around.
Chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley.
Dude, let's count the guns. Let's count the fucking guns, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not including those other guys in vests. I don't even know if they have guns. Oh, look, and there's a guy behind him. 8 people, definitely with guns, and he's unarmed. And you're saying they felt intimidated. They felt outnumbered by him. And that's, bro, look, they're being so coerced right now. They're being threatened. Holy shit, they're in fear of their life even. Bro, that police officer looks like he's holding an axe too or something. And they all have bro. 8 guns minimum. 1 guy unarmed. Oh, yeah. He's storming the Capitol right now. You fucking idiots. They want to pretend as though they're better than you, and this is how they did it, to lie. And this is the reason they're triggered and melting down, losing their minds, foaming at the mouth over the realization that you are learning the truth. Why would they be mad at you learning the truth? Think about that. Why? If somebody's mad that you're learning the truth, who do they play for? I'll tell you who they play for. They play for the fucking evil. They play for Team Evil. Team Anti-Truth. They don't want you to know the truth. And when you learn it, they get upset. If someone gets upset at you learning what's real, at what's true, they want to control you. They want to manipulate things. They want to manipulate you. And even if you disagreed with them, how they did it was they showed this footage on repeat so that you couldn't say anything. So you'd have to acknowledge, oh, yes, it was bad. But wait a second. This isn't bad at all. As a matter of fact, he's being escorted through the Capitol building.
Not one of them even tried to slow him down.
They didn't even touch him. Bro, come on, dude. They could have grabbed him. They could have stopped him. Anything. Again. This alone is damning footage. And this man should be released instantly. Are you kidding me?
Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving...
What would you think? Tell me what you would think if police officers are standing next to you and letting you do something. You would think, what I'm doing clearly isn't illegal, and much less is it not illegal, it's definitely not insurrection, it's definitely not a heinous crime, or they certainly would be intervening. But no, ask yourself what you would think. You're walking through a building, which is the People's Building, which is called the People's Building, surrounded by police officers that are letting you doing what you're doing, and you think to yourself, naturally, there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. It's so obvious.
Thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration
Oh my God.
needed to these police officers.
Oh my God. They didn't show him praying and expressing faith to Jesus Christ. They didn't show that. Why didn't they show that? Because these people are Christians. Because these people are conservative. Because these people love the country. Because these people aren't doing anything wrong. They were let in. This was orchestrated. This was planned. They wanted to portray these people in the way they did, and they edited the footage to not show you things like this, things like what we just saw, because they wanted to create a narrative to make you believe a certain thing, to make you hate others, to control your emotions, to make you have disdain and look down on people who disagree with the radical left. That's what we're seeing here.
To allow us into the building.
Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded on video, some of which has never before been seen, with the depiction of Jacob Chansley that you've seen in the media for more than 2 years. He's a terrorist, they said. He should be killed.
Shoot him. Shoot him. Like, if you burst.
You dumb motherfucker. He was surrounded by 8 armed police officers, and he's not a terrorist. But see, I'm so glad they include this footage. The rage that they feel. They want to kill you. They have disdain for you. They think they think you're less than them. They think you should be eradicated. They wish they didn't have to live in the same world as you. This is what the psychopathy of the radical left does. The narcissism. The resentment. I'm putting myself in the mind state of these radical leftists because I've been around them. You are an inconvenience to them and their ideology. You are an inconvenience to the inevitable progress and obvious moral virtue that they have and possess. And so your existence is an impediment, and therefore the world would be better if you were eradicated, if you were not around them. This is how they think. This is how they think of you. And you see it in front of you. Deny it. Deny it. I dare you, deny it.
Into the United States. If he was dressed like Bin Laden, would you have shot him?
Shoot him! Shoot him! It makes you wonder, who are the violent extremists?
Who are the hate-filled people? Who are the hate-filled people? Oh, wait. We know who they are. The radical, tolerant, compassionate left.
Here, not Jacob Chansley, and the video proves that. But you would never have known from the media coverage.
Why would the leaders of Congress, why would Chuck Schumer, why would these people express any type of hesitation or aversion to you learning this, to you seeing this? Why? Why? What's wrong with people seeing this? They want to control you. They want you to be a slave to the left-wing degeneracy. That's why. Have you noticed that people have been thinking less and less these days? That people just are making less and less sense. They're being more and more emotional and less reasonable. The reason is because the ideology of Marx is doing more and more thinking for them. That's why they all sound the same. That's why they all have the same emotional grievances and the same triggeredness in the exact same areas. You ask leftists what they think about abortion, what they think about guns, they all give the same answer instantly. The left-wing ideology is powered by Marx, and he's doing the thinking for them. And it's an opposition to truth. These people are opposed to truth because it leads to the fall of their virtueless, meritless doctrine.
The people sitting in the chair.
It's not only their identity, it's how they get their counterfeit virtue. They feel like they're good people when they think of you as less. They feel like better people when they can label you an extremist, a terrorist, an enemy. Why? Because they don't have to listen to what you have to say. Just like I said at the beginning of this video, if they can demonize you, then they don't have to listen to what you have to say, and they can't. Because if they do, that would require that requires some mental steps, one of which being, how do I listen to this person? And if you ask yourself, how do I listen to a person, you're going to realize that you have to use frameworks to make sense of ideas and words. Some of those frameworks are logic. Some of those frameworks are reason and rationality, not emotional resentment that is the bread and butter of Marxism, that is the bread and butter of the radical left, and for that matter, feminism as well. So there's a reason why they can't listen to what you have to say, why they have to demonize you, and that's it.
Heirs need to be sitting in a jail cell.
Chansley is in a jail cell. He's been there for months. If he was in fact committing such a grave crime, why didn't the officers who were standing right next to him place him under arrest? Until now, no one could even prove that even happened. But it did.
And why when people asked, did they deny it since they saw the footage? They lied again. They lied again. They don't care about truth. They don't care about you. They hate you. They despise you. They wish all of you were in jail. They wish they had a reason to put all of you in prison, because if they could label you a traitor and get away with it, they would, because you are nothing more than an inconvenience to the march of their totalitarian left-wing identitarianism.